The moment you started pitching, you already lost the room. Not because your offer was weak, not because your pricing was wrong, because the executive sitting across from you, the one running $40 million division, managing 300 people across 3 time zones, and being courted by 3 other firms, does not respond to pitches. He responds to standards. There's a specific ceiling that high caliber operators hit when they're intending to attract high stakes clients. And almost no one names it honestly. It's not a marketing problem. It's not a positioning problem. It's a frame problem, identity problem. The moment you position yourself as the seller, you become the applicant. And the right client does not hire applicants. He selects peers. He selects authorities. He selects the person who has to convince. He selects the person he has to convince to work with him. Today, I am going to dismantle the frame that is costing you the room and rebuild it from the ground up. Are you ready? Set, go. Let's do it. Let me give you the number that should stop you cold. According to a 2024 analysis published by Corporate Visions, 67% of all sales failures in high-stakes B2B transactions are not caused by a bad product, a wrong price point, or even a weak sales team. So stop blaming them. They're caused by poor qualification. 2/3 of deals that die because the wrong person got into the room in the first place. That number holds across enterprise sales, consulting engagements, high-ticket advisory work. The pattern is the same. Someone does not pre-qualify with precision. Someone does not pre-qualify with precision. The wrong client enters, the engagement starts, the friction begins, the deal collapses, or worse, it closes and delivers no result because the client was never the right fit to begin with. We get to choose our clients. The clients are not choosing us. Here's what Corporate Visions also found. The average enterprise buying group in 2026 now includes 22 stakeholders. 22 people, each with a different risk threshold, a different agenda, a different definition of value. The complexity alone has fundamentally shifted how high stakes decisions are made and who gets to influence them. This matters for one specific reason. When the buying group is that large and that complex, the operator who walks in the room as a seller becomes chitter chat, noise, not signal. Because everyone in that room has already been sold to. Every vendor, every consultant, every integrator has shown up with a deck and a pitch and a case study. They have all done the same thing. The person who walks in there with a standard, with a frame that says, I'm deciding if your situation qualifies for what I build, that person is different. Daniel Priestley talks about this. Daniel Priestley, the founder of Scorecard Marketing, him and his partner, he talks about this all the time. This is what he trains people on. That person is different. That person holds the attention of an executive who has seen everything. Harvard Business Review has documented this dynamic extensively in their research on value-based pricing and buyer psychology. The data is consistent. Buyers at the highest levels of enterprise and executive decision making do not primarily evaluate offers on features or even on price. They evaluate offers on perceived authority and fit. The question they are unconsciously asking is not, is this good? It is, does this person operate at my level or above it? The gap that most operators never close is this. They have the expertise, but not the frame, but not the identity. They can solve the problem, but they show up in a posture that signals they need the client more than the client needs them. And that one signal, communicated in how they speak, how they price, how they follow up, how they structure the first call, costs them everything. Here's the framework. I want to give you the architecture of what I call the buyer frame. What we now call the buyer frame. This is not a sales tactic. I'm so sick of these people. You're not tricking anyone into buying from you. You are revealing what you have, and people are smart enough to say yes or to say nay. Goodness, these people on YouTube, ban them, please. The buyer frame inverts this entirely. Because you present what you do, you establish the standard of who you do it for, you name the ceiling, the specific measurable condition that your ideal client is already experiencing, before you ever describe the solution. This is not semantics. This is not mind games. This is not a cheesy, corny $1 sales tactic. This is a frame. This is architecture. This is system. When you open with the cost, the friction, the gap that a specific kind of executive is already navigating, you do two things simultaneously. You demonstrate that you understand their world with more precision than they have articulated themselves. And you signal that your work exists in that specific context. Not for everyone, but for the person whose reality you just described. The Harvard Business Review's foundational research on value-based strategy, documented extensively in their pricing and positioning work, establishes that buyers make high-stakes decisions based on the differential between their perceived value and the cost of inaction. Perceived value, cost of inaction. The operator who names that differential with precision wins the frame before the conversation formally begins. Point 2. The qualification is not a filter. It is a signal. It is your bat signal. How else? Anyhow. When qualification is designed from a place of scarcity or fear to protect yourself from back. Yes, precisely. When qualification is designed from a place of scarcity or fear to protect yourself from bad clients, to manage your time. Oh, look at the Omega. Nah, this is a Be Well. Just kidding. It reads as defensive. Why are you defensive? Calm down. The client can feel that, and it seems like you're playing a game with them. It positions the operator as someone who has been burned and is now protecting themselves. That is the posture of someone who needs protection. I'm not going to go there. And high caliber clients do not choose operators who need protecting. When qualification is designed from a place of precision and standard, this is who I build for. This is the exact condition that makes this work. And I am determining whether that condition is present within you and yours. It reads as authority. The right client recognizes the rigor. It tells them that what you actually build requires something from the person you build it for. The SPOTIO, SPOTIO, sales data from 2026 documents that 78% of B2B buyers evaluated as high value considered the rigor of a vendor's intake and qualification process as a trust signal, not a barrier. They expected it. You didn't have it? They associated qualification with quality. It seems counterintuitive, but it's not. This is what it is. The message landing was, this person protects the integrity of their work. Some might call it bougie. That's not your client anyway. I hope not. That's a problem. Not an opportunity for your resolution. Listen, that is the buyer frame in practice. Your qualification process is not a gate. It is your first proof of mastery. Point 3, your pricing is a frame, not a number. Corporate Vision's research on premium pricing found a consistent behavioral pattern among senior executive buyers. Round numbers at high price points signal confidence. Charm pricing. $49,997 instead of $50,000. It irritates me. Why are you playing games with people? Why do you still think that we need to trick people into buying? If you've laid out the value, if it solves their situation, why do you have to trick them? Do you think that they're stupid? They're not. The $49,997, oh my God, thank God, you saved them $3 instead of $50,000. Signals a retail mindset. And the executive who has built an 8-figure operation has a finely calibrated sensitivity to the difference. When you price with precision at a high number and make no apology for it, you're communicating something deeper than the cost, monetary cost of engagement. You are communicating that you have arrived at that number through a rigorous understanding of the value that you so elegantly deliver. Not through negotiation, readiness, or fear of rejection. Sally said no. There's no other fish in the sea. Yes, there is. Put your big man pants on. Put your big woman pants on. It's all good. Use the law of averages and the law of numbers anyway. It's all good. The number itself is a frame. It tells the buyer who they are about to engage with before a single word has been spoken about what you actually do. The Global Authority Protocol is priced at $50,000, a small price to pay for the transformation that we deliver. Very small. Actually, if it was anyhow, that number is not arbitrary. It reflects the scope of transformation. Linguistic, cultural, identity level, AI backed, of course. This is 2026. That the protocol delivers. And it functions as the first pre-qualification mechanism. This is everything we just spoke about in my own life, implementation. And it functions as the first pre-qualification mechanism. The executive who reads that number and thinks it is too much has already told me everything that I need to know. Whether they can afford the cost of not having the protocol in place. Point 4. The language of the buyer frame has no filler. Every sentence either advances authority or dilutes it. There's no neutral. I would love to work with you. please. I would love it. Applicant language. I want to understand your situation before I can determine if this is relevant for you. Authority language. No, nobody wants to be courted into a deal. They want to know that you're for them. That's it. Everyone wants what they want. They don't want what you want for you. My clients include executives who seller language. The protocol is built for a specific kind of operator. Before I can tell you if that's you, I need to understand where you are, where you're actually trying to go. Qualifier language. The Harvard Business Review researches on executive communication patterns found that leaders who communicated in direct, declarative sentences with low hedging language were consistently rated higher value and more trustworthy. I can trust this man. He told me what he wanted. By peer level executives. The implication is direct. How you speak is part of your positioning, not a supplement of it, part of it. Vague language, over-explanation, unsolicited reassurance. Why you keep telling me it's going to be okay? Now I'm feeling that it's not going to be okay. And now I want to get away. That's what goes to their head. And you might not have been bad. You might have been great. You might have been the perfect person for them. And the moment you are managing perception, you have handed the frame to them. Well, I won't even say it like that because that sounds competitive. You have surrendered your power. So now it's not power and power. This was you. And that's what happened. The buyer frame requires language that is clean, declarative, and unbothered. Yes, I win. No, I win. And you win both ways. We're all just winning here. Collaboratively. What this actually looks like. Let me make this concrete. The executive who enters a new market without the buyer frame already in place makes a consistent mistake. He walks into a room full of potential partners, investors, or clients. People who are evaluating him as much as he is evaluating them. And he performs. She performs. He presents. She explains. She attempts to establish credibility through the volume of information he delivers. Make it simple enough for a 10-year-old to understand and digest. You don't have to be all acting smart. If you can explain a complex subject to a 10-year-old and he can understand it fully, that is smarter to do than to use the big words and smoke screen them and stop. I know, the dude on YouTube with the sales tactics, he told you about it. Please block his account or her account. I've only seen him do this though. They attempt to establish credibility through the volume. Yeah, no. The room watches. Without the glasses? With the glasses? With their eyes closed, so they just have to listen, but they're watching with their ears. It's good. The room is not moved. Not because the information was wrong, but because the performance itself was a disqualifier. This is what Deloitte 2006 Global Human Capital Trends report identified as one of the central leadership failures of the current era. Executives who are technically competent, but who have not developed the operating posture to match their competence. Okay. Yeah, that's the failure. The executives are technically competent, but have not developed the operating posture, the frame, the identity to match. That's what it is. That's identity, my friend. You haven't stepped into your identity. You're not operating in the right frame. Deloitte's language is authenticity gap. You haven't stepped into your greatness. Why are you still apologizing for being great? I don't know. But if you're letting the people who also have not done that, you're making another mistake. And you need to stop. You should stop. I know, don't have shits for other people. If the should is going to help you, I should for you. The leaders who close this gap command rooms. The leaders who do not close the gap keep presenting in rooms they should be leading. Now consider the alternative, beloved. The executive who walks into that room, that same room with the standard already established, who has done the work of determining in advance what he is selecting for and what he or she is not, operates from a fundamentally different posture. He asks questions. He names the gaps. He demonstrates through the precision of his assignment that he has already seen the room many times and knows exactly what it needs. He knew what room he was walking into. She did too. That is not confidence as performance. That is authority as architecture. Here's the single point I want you to carry out of this, please. Not for my sake, for your own. The buyer frame is not a technique you apply when you're on a sales call. It is a posture you inhabit in everything you produce. It is who you are. It is who you choose to be despite the initial resistance from yourself and maybe from others. Every word you write, every call you structure, every number you put on a proposal, every piece of content you release out into the beautiful, amazing world. Thank you, Yahushua. When your content is built from the buyer frame, the right executive reads it and thinks, this person knows exactly who they are building for. And I need to determine whether I am that person or not. That is a completely different psychological state than I should probably follow up with this vendor. The global authority protocol is built entirely from this frame. The executive who enters is not joining a program. They are being selected into a system that was built with precision for a specific transition into spilled that water. Into Spanish-speaking global markets at a specific level of operation. And let me recuperate from that water spill. And the selection process begins the moment they encounter the first piece of content I produce. If what I have described today maps onto the transition you are currently navigating, if you are operating at a level where the room you are trying to enter requires a different authority than what you have built, the global authority protocol may or may not be the architecture that you need. I work with a small number of executives at a time. The conversation starts with a qualifying call where I determine whether your situation is one we can actually move. If that is where you are, you know how to reach me because it'll be in the bio. Thank you. I hope that this has added value to you. I love you. Keep it organic. Keep advancing. Own your greatness, please. Do not cower from it. Peace.